If you think about it, being just an ordinary layperson, I'm of the opinion that when you go to court, that people like the police, ambulance, I'll talk generally about the people that were involved in Hillsborough as I know it. When I went into court, I honestly believed it was cut and dry, that they had to tell the truth because they are there to do that. They're in power. And yet it was all lies. And you can't believe that they were allowed to do that. How on earth did they get away with that? They're the people who uphold the law. They're there to protect you and to tell the truth. And they were allowed to lie again and again and again. So we need a law bringing in that stops this.
If there is a law, especially, like the Hillsborough Law, I feel that it would break down this culture of denial. I feel that it would make, people realise that it's not okay to do that and you can't get away with doing that anymore.
Authorities will be accountable and they will have to ensure that when they're given evidence, it's given correctly. They can't hide behind a police uniform or a public service. They need to be come out and say straight away what's happened because of the devastating effect it has only on people. You just can't hide behind these laws that are presently in place.
The introduction of a new law, the Hillsborough Law, should be rolled out across all authorities. It should not be just targeted at one authority. It has got to be taken on board by everyone and supported by the government in order, in a way, to give the public confidence again in the doings of the public authorities.
There needs to be enforcement upon public servants who, in the aftermath of a death or of a tragedy such as Hillsborough, are obliged to basically act with what the duties and responsibilities of their jobs are, and to tell the truth and to let the families of the deceased know exactly what happened, because that is so crucial for our grieving process.
They would then have not a threat hanging over them, but they could not conduct themselves like they have done in all the previous years. And when you look back, to me, I think it's shocking to think that they do it, that they're allowed to do it. You don't expect that. You honestly believe that because they're the police, maybe it was from when I was growing up, that you held them in esteem, and you'd think, well, these guys, they're going to do, they're going to be there to protect, and that's not the case. And to be allowed to lie the way they have, it shouldn't be allowed, and that's why we need this law for the future.
People will be having to be more direct, more open, more honest, and bring to account people who are within that authority to give true accounts of what occurred on the days, and that will bring truth, justice, and cases to a more swift conclusion.
If the government were not to turn the Hillsborough Law into legislation, that we would most definitely have more cover-ups and more wrongdoing by public officials, because there would not be a duty of candour on them. There would not be any enforcement for them to tell the truth, or for them to give the information that families require.
The law is required now, not in another 5 years, 10 years, 27 years. It's required now because if history shows us anything, people have suffered for so long. We need this law in place now, so as we can, force public authorities to account, because they've they've so long hidden behind their own or the legislation that's in place at the moment, and that's sadly not good enough.
There are others, such as Orgreave and the miners' strike, really highlight how easy it has been for public officials to get away with suppressing truth or distorting the truth for almost 3 decades over Hillsborough. And that's just simply unacceptable.
But we need this law now so that people never have to go through what we've gone through.
The Hillsborough Law is absolutely imperative if we are to stop such a cover-up and such a miscarriage of justice from ever happening again in this country.